Hi guys, we're back with another Steve Jenkins book, and today we are actually going to read Biggest, Strongest, Fastest. Now remember, Steve Jenkins is well known for his illustrations and his style of illustrations. And when we look at the title page, look at each illustration there. We have the biggest, and so then it shows an illustration, the strongest and the fastest. Strongest and fastest. So he put that there by each one. And he talks about record holders. We know that a record holder is someone that is the one that holds the title of being the biggest, or being the strongest, or being the fastest. A record holder, we think about the 3rd and 4th grade track meet, and they have, whoa, my whole thing fell over. They have a board in the hall that has the record holder, who was the fastest in the 50-meter run, who was the threw the farthest in the softball throw. Those would be the record holders, and the record holders can change over time. And somebody could come along and beat that record. Some of you might have read the Guinness Book of World Records, and people actually set out to beat the records in that. So maybe it's who jump rope the longest consecutively without stopping. So you can look at those and see if you can become a record holder. And there's ways you have to get it documented for the Guinness Book of World Records. But for today, we are going to talk about animals. We are going to talk about animals. Here we go. Animals live all around us. They crawl, walk, run, hop, swim, and fly. Some animals are too small to see without a microscope. Others, like the blue whale, are bigger than a house. There are animals that move as fast as a car, and animals that would need half an hour to cross a room. Here are some of the biggest and smallest, fastest and slowest, strongest and longest. They are the record holders of the animal world. If you think about it, would you want to have a record for being the slowest? I'm not sure too many of us would want that record. Okay. The African elephant is the biggest land animal. I'm going to have to get closer. The largest elephant ever measured was more than 13 feet tall and weighed 22,000 pounds. An African elephant eats over 300 pounds of grass or leaves every day. The strongest animal for its size is the ant. Now remember, it says for its size. Not the strongest animal in the world, but for the size of the animal, he is the record holder for being the strongest. An ant can carry 5 times its own weight. A strong man can carry something that weighs about as much as he does. So we have a nice diagram right there. And a diagram explains something. So this diagram is explaining how a man can carry about itself, but an ant can carry 5 of itself. Does this diagram help you understand how strong an ant can be? Now remember, we're not comparing it as far as size, saying an ant barely weighs anything. We're comparing it for a man to carry itself compared to an ant carrying itself. The tallest animal is the giraffe. Male giraffes grow as tall as 19 feet. The females are a little shorter. With their great height and long, flexible necks, giraffes can eat leaves that other grazing animals cannot reach. And here you see a giraffe compared to a human. Yeah, much taller. That'd be scary to run into. The blue whale is the biggest animal. that has ever lived. A blue whale can grow to be 110 feet long and weigh over 168 tons, as much as 20 elephants. Even the biggest dinosaur was smaller than a blue whale. Look at that comparison. Do you see it? A blue whale to a person. Now this word's getting me. The Etruscan shrew, the world's smallest mammal, could sleep in a teaspoon. From the tip of its nose to the end of its tail, this shrew is only 2.5 inches long. It weighs about as much as a ping pong ball. Look at, there's a comparison of a human's hand, a person's hand, to this shrew. Yeah, about as big as your thumb. The smallest bird is the bee hummingbird. The bee hummingbird is an acrobatic flyer that is only 3 inches long. It weighs 1/30th of an ounce, less than a dime. And again, look at it compared to your hand. It weighs less than a dime. The sun jellyfish is the world's longest animal. I've never heard of a sun jellyfish. Sun jellyfish have tentacles over 200 feet long. They drag these poisonous filaments through the water to stun fish, which they then catch and eat. See the comparison there? Yeah, that is really long. I wonder what ocean and what part of the world they live in. The largest kind of spider is the bird spider. The bird spider measures almost a foot across and has a poisonous bite. It spins a very strong web to trap the birds and large insects to eat. And it's about the size of your hand. I think if I saw an insect the size of my hand, I would be a little scared. Because look, imagine, just hold up your hand. Look at your hand. Can you imagine an insect that big? If not bigger, because think about your parents' hands. Because that's using an adult hand. The cheetah can run faster than any other animal. A cheetah can reach speeds of over 60 miles an hour, but only for a few hundred feet. When it chases another fast animal, such as an antelope, the cheetah must catch it quickly. Because a cheetah cannot run for very long at that speed. Or an antelope, I think, can run a little bit longer. The electric eel gives the strongest shock of any animal. An electric eel can give a shock of up to 650 volts, over 5 times the voltage needed to light a standard household light. That is enough electricity to give a serious shock to a horse or other large animal. It's comparing, this one is comparing it to light bulbs. It's saying that it is up to 5 times the voltage needed for a household light bulb, like what you would use. That's crazy. The land snail is one of the slowest animals. Some snails can move only 8 inches in a minute. At that speed, the snail would need 5.5 days to travel 1 mile. Fortunately, the snail, with its hard shell, does not need to run away from danger. Yeah, that would be important because he's not going to get away very quickly. So he can use that shell to protect him from danger. There are many kinds of large snakes, but the anaconda is the biggest. An anaconda can grow to be over 25 feet long and weigh 400 pounds. They won't hold on. They wait in trees and drop onto their prey. A hungry anaconda can swallow a whole deer or goat. Can you imagine? This is him compared to a person. Can you imagine it can swallow a whole deer or goat? The flea is very small, but it is the world's best jumper. And now you can really see here in his illustration how he layers different types of paper to create the illustrations. He takes it and he can stack it on top of each of the other pieces. The flea is only 1/16 of an inch tall, but it can jump 8 inches into the air. That is about 130 times its own height. If a 5.5-foot tall woman could jump as well as a flea, she could leap to the top of a 65-story building. Can you even see it? That flea is that little circle right there. It's tiny. But could you imagine if a woman can jump like that? Oh, the Galapagos turtle or tortoise lives longer than any other animal. A Galapagos tortoise can live to be over 150 years old, about twice as long as the average person can expect to live. And they are pretty big. They get to be about half of the size of a human. The end. We were talking about that sun jellyfish, and he lives, and I was saying, where does he live? He lives in warm oceans as well. And that electric eel lives in fresh rivers of South America. And we can be thankful that the anaconda lives in South America and not North America. But that is the end of our story.